President Vladimir Putin has a great life when he's not hiding in his Euro bunker and threatening to destroy the world with nukes. Most dictators of today would be jealous of that. He hasn't had a gold statue made in his honor, and he hasn't called himself a living god, like some of his stranger Asian colleagues have. But Putin is still one of the richest leaders in the world. Vladimir Putin was a real star up until a few days ago. He was mysterious, and people all over the world loved him. That was of course before people found out he was a crazy person who was ready to blow up the world if he didn't get his way. No matter if he was shown shirtless on a horse, swimming in a river, playing hockey, or just punching a bear in the face, the Russian president, who is such a unique person, exudes authority, brute strength, and a kind of charismatic terror. His days are filled with luxury, spending, investments, and of course, a lot of work. While you might think that President Putin starts his day by getting vodka splashed in his eyes, punching a dissident in the face, and arm wrestling a bear, that is not the case. The truth is that Russia's leader has a much more boring morning when he doesn't have to go overseas. When Putin doesn't have to go abroad, he likes to stay in bed until noon. That's why he looks scary even though he's almost 70 years old. His breakfast is the most boring thing you can think of. These abs need protein, so he should eat an omelet, fresh fruit juice, porridge, and, if he's feeling wild, some cottage cheese. Even though his breakfast is as plain as it gets, it's not cheap. Everything Putin eats was picked fresh from local farms owned by Patriarch Kirill, the head of the Russian Orthodox Church, and cooked in his own kitchen by a well-trained and well-paid cook. As you might have guessed, Putin has a general fear of getting poisoned, just like many other Russian dictators before him. This is not too surprising given his position. Because of this, the Russian president has to be very picky about what he eats, and he always insists on taking his personal cook with him when he travels abroad. Putin's cook is of course one of his closest friends, and he pays him well for his loyalty and, most likely, for the tasty porridge he makes. That doesn't mean that when the president goes on diplomatic trips, he turns down all the good food. But before Putin touches anything, Russia's secret services as former KGB agent must approve it. Putin knows all too well how quickly things can go wrong if you're not paying attention. It's interesting that Russia's president flat out won't drink milk, but it's not clear if he doesn't like the taste or just hates cows, like American imperialists. Putin will have a cup of Novichok-free coffee in his huge palace just outside of Moscow after breakfast. The president of Russia sure knows how to live well. His Novo-Ogaryovo estate has all the things he needs, with its heated indoor pool, sauna, and small cold water plunge pools, as well as its high-end furniture and fancy decorations. As the leader of Russia, Putin has a lot of important responsibilities to his country and people. But Vladimir's body is the most important thing to him. So, after a healthy breakfast, you should swim for 2 hours to burn off those pesky calories. It was said that he makes a lot of decisions about running the country while he's swimming, which would explain why Russia's economy is going down the drain. At this point, it's well past 2 p.m., and different ministers, MPs, advisors, and journalists are waiting for Putin's advice on how to run the country. After all, nothing happens in Russia without the supreme leader's knowledge, and because he is so paranoid, the president has a firm grip on every part of running the country. But everyone who wants to see it will have to wait a little longer. People say that the average wait to see Putin is between 2 and 4 hours, depending on how soon you need an answer. If you're a journalist, you might need to bring snacks to eat while you wait. The only good thing is you'll probably be waiting in one of the Kremlin's many high-class conference rooms. Some people say that they look more like a throne room than a normal cabinet or meeting room. While everyone waits for Putin to arrive, he is still working on his body, which is the only thing in Russia that isn't shown right now. So Putin is ready to lift some weights now that he's done swimming hard. No, it's neither bears nor cars, no planes, just normal weights. But he's said to be wearing a suit that cost more than $3,500. Putin does a lot to stay in top shape, especially for someone who is 69 years old. People know that he enjoys all kinds of physical and contact sports, but hockey and judo are his favorites. The Russian leader was also an honorary president of the International Judo Federation until a few days ago. But because of the Ukrainian attack, he was taken out of the IJA. Putin's body has had enough by mid-afternoon, so it's time to get dressed for the day. As everyone knows, the Russian president doesn't dress too frivolously. Keaton and Brioni are his favorite brands because he mostly wears suits with ties, which, because of the sanctions the EU put on Russia, won't be able to get Putin new suits for a while. But Putin won't be wearing a barrel anytime soon, since the suit collection is worth tens of thousands of dollars. Usually, traffic in Moscow is a nightmare, but not if you have a private road from your home to your office in the Kremlin that is guarded by the police the whole way. Once Putin is at work, he does nothing but work. Because of security concerns, his office is famous for not having any windows and for not letting any technology inside. The only way to get in touch is with an old Soviet landline phone. Not very fancy, but very good at stopping espionage. After learning the truth about Russia, the first thing the president does every day is read the reports from the FSB, the SVR, and the FSO, which is his personal protection army. It's time for the president to find out what his people have said. Putin spends a lot of time reading things that are printed in the country's heavily censored tabloids. He especially likes to read articles that say nice things about him, which are easy to find in state-run media and in the lightly censored broadsheets that are considered the best press in Russia. Before we move on, don't forget to hit the thumbs up, press the notification bell, and subscribe to be updated on our latest uploads. Lastly, the foreign press is his least favorite, and it's easy to see why. Even though Putin's reputation outside of Russia isn't great, he still needs to know what's going on in the world and what he can use to his advantage. When the president is happy, he likes to watch funny videos of himself, but never in his office. Also, if Vladimir is watching this, please don't push the big red button that will turn the world into a nuclear wasteland. Putin's day is broken up into 15-minute chunks, but he's not the only one who does that. Most world leaders use this method to plan their meetings, press conferences, and wars. All of this is planned out way in advance, and Putin keeps you on his schedule even when he travels abroad. When Putin goes to international events, he doesn't spend any money. His group usually stays in high-end hotels that SVR and FSB chose after a thorough inspection and swipe. For the president's arrival, the whole building is locked up. Putin travels with 3 planes, one of which is just for him and his close friends. One is for the rest of the delegation, and the other is just a fake. If anyone wants to start World War III, all they have to do is shoot down the Russian president. Putin doesn't trust anyone, so he usually has an army of servants, chefs, cleaners, and other service workers with him, as you may have guessed, from the time he wakes up. Putin likes to stay up late. He says that's when his mind is the clearest and when he gets most of his work done. Putin hates being in the Kremlin, so most of the time the president works late at home. So, Vladimir doesn't work on his plans until late at night. Quite often, he calls his ministers or advisors way past midnight to talk about actions and government business. Usually, his dinner is just as healthy as his breakfast, but sometimes he likes to eat fancy things like caviar. He also likes pistachio ice cream, and more than one world leader has seen him sharing a cone with them. Most people in the West think that Putin drinks a bottle or 2 of vodka every night. But in reality, he rarely drinks. The only time this isn't true is at diplomatic events where it's expected. Putin usually goes to bed around 3 a.m., which is not a good time for a family. But the leader of Russia doesn't care about that. He has been single since 2013. So, ladies, if you want to live an exciting, luxurious life, you might want to book your flight to Moscow soon. He and his wife Lyudmila got a divorce in 2013. He now lives alone with his dogs. He has 2 daughters, but not much is known about them because the FSB is probably always looking for possible threats to their lives, so don't follow them around. President Putin loves his 3 dogs, a black Labrador named Kuni, an Akita Inu named Yumi, and a Karakechan dog named Buffy. Boyko Borisov, the Prime Minister of Bulgaria, gave him the last one, and Putin has been in love with a fluffy drool ball ever since. It's safe to say that these dogs have a much better life than most Russians, with more than $100 billion in personal wealth. The Russian president can't give his best friends the best because he doesn't have the money. Vladimir Putin is a person of habits, and he doesn't show off his wealth very often. The Russian president has a very nice home and a lot of land. But other than that, he tries to keep a simple look for his people. He has his own army to protect him, a multi-million-dollar home in the middle of nowhere, and a few other perks that usually stay behind closed doors and away from the camera. So, would you rather live in isolation like Putin and have a lot of money? Or would you rather be free? Let us know in the comments below. If you liked and enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. For more insightful videos, get notified by clicking the bell button below. From the high-end stories of today, this has been Modern Luxury. As always, we look forward to seeing you again in one of our videos. Thanks for watching.